So in this case, I have the right stick higher than the left one. So this is day 23, and today we are going to continue with our 8th note. Today we are going to learn something called Flam. So what is Flam? It is nothing but where you play with your left and right hand, and it is commonly played on snare drum, but it is not only played on snare drum, but it's commonly played on snare drum. It's usually played in the beginning of a particular roll. Let's say you play a 4/4 beat, right? And at the end of third bar, the beginning of the fourth bar, that first note we usually play on the snare, this flam. So you will understand when I demonstrate it in a bit. But once again, it can be played on the toms too, but it's mostly played, like I said, it's mostly played on the snare drum. So let me just show you on the practice pad. So we have the practice pad, right? We have the practice pad here, right? So this flam is played one of the sticks higher than the other one, doesn't matter which one. So in this case, my right hand is higher, my left hand is lower, right? And when you play, even though one is higher than the other, you play at the same time, and it's going to produce a sound like this. If you do the opposite, right hand can be lower and the left hand is higher, but play at the same time. You're hitting this practice pad at the same time. Take some practice to produce that sound, but remember, one has to be higher, doesn't matter which hand, which stick, and you're hitting the pad at the same time so that it will produce that particular sound. That is flam, right? The first bar, we have played this beat before, where we play the bass on the first note and then and note after 2 and immediately on 3. 2/4 snare, 7 beats on the closed hi-hat, because the 8th beat, that and note after 4 or the 8th beat is open. See, I circled this X, that means open hi-hat. In the last video I circled the plus sign, and it's not how it's done. I accidentally circled the plus sign, so it's supposed to be around the X. You just circle this X. If you leave it like that, that's open, right? So that's the first bar. Second bar is different. It's different where the bass is played different. This is not a bass, just ignore that. There is no bass on the first note, but there is a bass on the and note immediately after the first note. So and note we play bass, and then 2 and 4 we play snare, and then and note after 2 again bass, and note after 3 again bass. So pretty much all the and notes except this and note we play the bass. And then and note, right? So that's bar 2, but here we don't have the open hi-hat, only on bar 1. Here we don't play the open hi-hat. Bar 3, just a carbon copy of bar 1. Bar 4, where we play the flam roll. So no open hi-hat, right? No closed hi-hat here, just the roll. Nothing played on the closed hi-hat. So that one and, right? We start with one and. That first note played on the snare. But notice that there is a small snare left to it, left to the big regular snare drum. We have a smaller version of it, right? With the stem pointing towards the big one. Just like this. This is how you indicate flam on this tape. A big snare drum and a small one, and the stem towards the big one. So you can put it like that. So that's on the first note, right? That's on the first note. Then that and note we play on tom 1. Okay, and tom 1 is the top left pad. 2, again back to snare, we play flam. You see how it looks like? And then that and note after 2 we play on tom 2. Tom 2. Then 3 back to snare, we play the flam again. Then and note after 3 we play on floor 1 or the third pad. And then 4 flam again. Then and note after 4 we play on floor 2 or the last pad. Right. This. What is this? Excuse me? Yes, repeat times 1, which means we go back to bar 1 and play the entire exercise. Yes, one more time. So that's flam. It's a very fun, you can say, way of initiating the roll. It sounds different than usual. So let's get into it. Let's see how this one sounds. Let's see how you should practice this. So I have set the tempo at 100. So before I start with the tempo, let me just quickly show you how this one should be played, how you should practice this. The beat goes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's a beat. But if you don't have the simple, the PD7 or the 8, don't worry about it. Just simply go back to the beat after you finish with the 4th bar, right? If you have the simple, then go back to bar 1, and then initially when you play that first note, that's when you play the simple along with the bass, right? And simple and then and note. You resume playing the closed hi-hat from the and note. We talked about this in the last video. So you know what I'm saying. And the flam goes like this again. Either the right or the left has to be slightly higher, right? If the right is slightly higher, then keep the left one low. If the left one is higher, then the right one should be lower. That's it. In this case, I'm going to play with my right stick higher than the left one. Flam. Sorry, you don't play a flam on tom 1. You can, but in this particular exercise it is not how it's written, so we don't play flam on tom 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 tom 1, tom 2, floor 1, floor 2, 1 2 3 4, right? So that's how it should be played. And now let's play with the click. 1 2 ready, start. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. Right. So that's how it should be played. Again, start at 60. If you want to just practice the flam by itself, which should be fine, then play the beat, practice those separately. And 2 and 3 and 4 and then after you play for a while, then come back and play the beat. See if you can join them together after the beat. So on the 4th bar, that's when you play the flam, this particular roll, right? Right. So that's it. Again, practice this very slowly and build your speed up. If you gain any knowledge from today's session, please subscribe, watch more videos, come back and watch more videos if you like to continue learning. Perhaps in the next session we are simply going to continue with the 8th note. Get ready to learn a new beat, also a new note. Stay tuned. Thank you.